This is Chronicles 514, Episode 2, airing on June 8, 2017. Hello everyone, this is Chronicles 514. I'm Carlos Mondragón. Thank you for joining us in this second week. This week I have another great guest. She's one of my favorite mentors I had through these 5 last years. Mariam Sambe, thank you for coming here actually.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks for having me.
Tell me, we met at Live Out Violence.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit what you thought, because when you met me, I was a really young child, and it's been a long time. So what was your first impression, let's say?
Actually, I met you about, I think, 3 or 4 days after I started working for Love. Like you said, it's a violence prevention organization. And we were at a camp, and you were playing soccer. That's my first memory of you. And I was like, okay, this kid doesn't stop. You were playing all day, every time, and you played really well. And I remember thinking, this is awesome. So I remember I started playing with you. And that was our first connection, we were in the same team, actually. So it was nice to know you in that sense, more of a sports guy who enjoys, life and who enjoys just activities and moving around. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think my first impression, with you was super energetic and always with a smile. That's something I really like about you. It's really welcoming. You always have a smile, and iced tea like today you just gave me. It's really cool. So what brought you to Love, actually?
So when I moved to Montreal about 7 years ago, actually. And then I started working at Love right away after I moved. It was one of the first jobs I applied to. What attracted me really was the purpose of the organization, which was really to help youth fight violence, whether it's emotional violence, whether it's physical violence, or just not liking yourself or not liking what you are. And I found that it's really important because these are things that we don't mention a lot, that we almost ignore a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And teenagers go through a lot of things, not because they're weak, but because there's a lot of emotions happening when you're a teen. Everything seems like a big deal. So I was a teenager myself, so I remember needing something like this. So when I found out about this organization, I didn't think twice. I applied right away. I was lucky enough to get the job, and since then I've been very close with the youth that I work with. Even after I left Love, I still in contact, like with you, for example. Mm-hmm. With many of my youth. Some of them even end up becoming my students in my current career where I teach at Dawson. So it's always been a pleasure to see people from Love.
Okay. What are you studying at, teaching at Dawson, actually?
Okay, so after Love, I started working at Concordia University and eventually at Dawson. And Dawson College, basically, I'm a humanities teacher. Okay. Which basically means that I teach ethics and critical thinking. These are required courses by the government, and in my ethics course, we talk a lot about religious ethics and what it means to be an ethical person overall. In my critical thinking course, we talk about how do we make strong arguments, how do you make sure that what you say is valid and is sound. Both courses are quite interesting because they entertain the students, and there's a lot of debates happening, great discussions overall. So it's excellent in that sense.
Yeah, you've always been good, interested in discussions and public speaking. I think you were in Toastmaster at one point.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Toastmasters is a little bit it's a public speaking organization mainly. But in the end, once you become a member, you feel more like family. It's a place where you practice speaking and you also practice listening. This is a skill that most people ignore because we tend to just talk and not take time to actually listen to what people are saying. But also an organization that helps you build leadership. And for most people, they think, well, you're either a leader or you're not. You can't really learn how to be a leader, but that's not true. You can learn how to be a better leader. That's for sure. You can learn how to listen better to your community, to people around you. So I've been interested in public speaking even before joining Toastmasters, but then once I joined even more, I started making speeches to the public, not just at Toastmasters, but even elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, because I think you've been doing everything. I think you're one of the persons I know that have traveled the most on their life. So which are the countries that you have visited?
Oh my God, so many. I'll mention a few. Canada, of course. Before Canada, I was in the US. I lived in Hawaii for about 3 years. That was a great experience, mainly because of the weather, which was quite opposite from Montreal. Before Hawaii, I was in France, and in France I lived in Lyon and Lille. Lyon is in the southeast of France. Lille is more in the north, not far from Paris. I learned a lot in Paris. That's where I did my bachelor degree actually, in Lille and in Lyon. Before that, I lived in Ethiopia, which is where I did my high school. In Senegal and Congo, I did my primary schooling. And in between, I traveled a lot in Europe and in the United States overall, in Canada. Either on vacation or because I had a conference or because I just wanted to go for like 6 months or 3 months. So I feel like traveling is probably the one thing that you will never waste money on. There's no way you can waste money on traveling because you learn so much. You learn more on 3 months traveling than a year of going to school, because you learn about different people, different cultures, different food. It makes you very outgoing. It makes you extremely sociable and understanding about the culture. So I tell that to everybody that I meet. Just travel, just go. Before you judge people, just go and see how they do things, and maybe you learn something from that.
What's been, let's say, your favorite place that you visit?
In terms of, it depends, right? In terms of beauty of a country or beauty of a place, I would have to say definitely Hawaii.
Okay.
Not just because of the beach, because that's what the first thing we think is beach when we think of Hawaii, but Hawaii is also known for amazing forests or amazing places that look like a jungle. It's also known for beautiful mountains and views, waterfalls. So I do enjoy Hawaii for the weather, for the beauty of the land. It's also a place where people have respected the land tremendously. Nothing is being built without, thinking about it, without having asked the native community if they're okay with it. So there's a lot of respect on nature, and that's what I love about it. When it comes to food, I have to say Montreal. Montreal has, if I want to eat, I know that in Montreal I can find food from everywhere, and plus it's tasty. It's not just cheap quality food. If I feel like Japanese food, there are excellent Japanese restaurants. If I feel like, Senegalese food, there's Senegalese food. If I want Ethiopian food, I'm not missing much when it comes to food. When it comes to architecture, I would say Rome.
Okay.
Was definitely my favorite place. Everything I looked at, I was amazed and mesmerized. I was like, how do people do this? It's just it's crazy how they can build these things. So
also, when there was not enough technology to
exactly
do it,
right. At a time where there was nothing, right? There was very little technology, and yet they had this ability because they were hard workers, and also they had lots of manpower, of course.
Nice. It's really cool, honestly. Every time that you tell a story of traveling, and like it just gives you the will to go and wander the world.
Yes, you should.
And let's say, okay, let's pass to the next part of our game, because I think like we have so much stuff to talk about, but I would really want to do like a would you rather game. Okay, so would you rather visit one country every day and never go back, or visit one country every 3 years, but for maybe 2 weeks?
So basically, the first question is going to one country forever and staying there?
No, every day you change of country, basically.
Oh my god.
But you can never go back to the same
Okay. And then the second one is, I would have to say the first one. I'd rather visit one country every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Really?
I know it's not a lot, but I'm I'm a person that likes to see as much as possible. So I think I probably would not sleep every day just so I can see as much as I can in that country. Of course, it won't be enough, but I think that would be my preference in the sense that I can have a bigger picture of what the planet has to offer, basically.
Okay. Another question for would you rather. So you're a teacher, but you like movies too.
Yes.
So would you rather read a book or watch a movie?
If I only have a choice between the two, I would say read a book. I love movies, but every book that I've read that became movies were terrible as movies. So I feel like it's important that I stick to reading, even if it means that I will never watch a movie again.
Okay. Another question. Because you talk about food now, I'm thinking about it. So, would you rather have a chef at home that only cooks one type of meal, but he's great, like he's a very good chef, and you have it anytime, he can cook you every time.
Okay.
Or just, how to put it, like go outside with $20 every day to eat outside in Montreal, for example.
And the chef is excellent, you say?
The chef is excellent.
But it's the same type of meal. Not the same meal, but type of meal.
Exactly. So it would only
either
cook
Japanese or Korean. I will go with the first one. Yeah. Oh my god. It's hard, but yes. Having a chef at home that cooks one particular meal. And I get to choose the meal, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
But it would be the same. Meaning, I
would
to
be
the
the
country
same.
at least.
Exactly.
Okay, yes, I'll do that, and I'll go for Thai food probably.
Thai food?
Yes.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's really good, actually.
And there's a lot of variety, so I'm thinking I might.
You wouldn't choose Ethiopian food?
No, because I can make it. Definitely not. I can make it.
Okay, so let's talk about education, because I know that you're trying a new project, right?
Yes.
It's called ABBA School. Tell me a little bit more about how you started this project and means to you.
Okay, so basically, that's a very good question. I take ABBA to heart and the whole process of opening a school or building better education systems to heart. So when I was a kid myself, when I was in primary school, I noticed I was in an okay school, a private school that I felt was comfortable. But until I started looking at other students, I didn't realize that I was lucky. And when I started being a bit older, when I moved to high school and I started talking to neighbors and looking at their books or their notebooks, I realized, my God, what they're learning is very, very limited in capacity. It's limited even in resources. They had very little books to share, so sometimes they had to share between one book for four students. So they had to go to the other house, give it the book, and come back. And I felt like it was unfair that just based on where you're born, you get to have better education. So I don't think education should be a privilege. It should be a right. Everybody should have right of education. This way we can have a better society. It's beneficial for the whole world, not just for that particular person, but for the environment and for the planet as a whole, if we want to succeed, right? So I figured, the only way to fix this with my little capacity, since I'm not a millionaire, is to at least provide one type of school where you will have equal number of poor and rich and medium class citizens that will come together and show that it is possible to be, in a quality education system where everybody gets the same benefits. And the idea basically is that I would like to open the school next year or this year, preferably, where we will start with very small, just a daycare first, see how that goes, see what's missing, what we could add, and then move on to kindergarten and then primary school with the years. So as these kids are growing, we want to keep them all the way to high school eventually. And the purpose of the school is, first of all, to promote, environmental studies that we are missing in most of our education. There's a lot of focus on academia. Be good in math, science, French, and you should be fine, right? There's not enough focus on ethics. There's not a lot of focus on the environment and peace education, which I want to include a lot. So I'm trying to build not just a good student. I want to build a good citizen overall. And the best way to do that is at school, because parents are busy. They cannot teach everything to their kids. The community also has to teach, and school is a great place to do that, since kids spend half of their life at school.
Yes, when you first told me about this project, I found it really interesting, because it's true. We always ask for better grades, but we never ask for better people.
Yes, exactly.
So I really enjoy that concept. And just for the listeners that we have out there, you want to open this school in Africa, right?
Yes, correct. I would like to open it. My first place was Ethiopia, simply because I know Ethiopia myself. I'm half Ethiopian and I speak the language, so it'll be more comfortable and more convenient. Also because Ethiopia has a massive amount of children being born. There's a statistic that said 40% of the population of Ethiopia is younger than 11 years old. 40%. So there's a lack of school. We need more schools. And unfortunately, when you have so many kids, most schools are just there to provide mass education. But I'm trying to focus on quality education, even if it means just 5 kids. I'd rather have 5 kids that are really strong than 200 that are medium. Yeah. This way, these 5 kids, hopefully in the future, can create other 5 kids, etc. So Ethiopia will be the first place. We want to open here now in the end of this 2017. That has always been our plan. Of course, the difficult thing is also finding funding, especially when you're new. People don't know you yet. They don't trust you yet. They don't know if you can actually have the capacity to do it. So that's what we're struggling with, finding the funding to, open the whole thing. This is why we're going with just a daycare first, and then seeing how it goes afterwards.
And do you have other collaborators that are working with you?
Yes, definitely. I have collaborators both in Ethiopia and in Canada. In Ethiopia, these are people, some are actually members of my family, some are people that I grew up with. And basically, they will be more responsible of the day-to-day, activities, since they're there. Those who are us who are here in Canada, we're more looking at funding opportunities, providing proper books, helping people donate toys and notebooks, pens, coloring books, etc. This way we can ship that to Ethiopia, and this way we have a good exchange. We're also looking at finding people here that might want to be interns, maybe future teachers from Concordia University, from McGill University, from any type of university that are interested to learn about a different culture, and then at the same time they get to experience or to practice their teaching skills.
D'accord. And this because you talk about new opportunities for people that want to get involved, is there anywhere that people can actually find this information?
Yes, definitely. So our website will be the first place. It's www.brightafricans.com. Bright Africans, just like you hear it, no space. And then there's also our Facebook page, which is also called ABBA Bright Africans. Or we also have a Twitter page. Right now, actually, we're hiring. So if anybody's interested in becoming teachers, they don't have to be Ethiopians. They can be from anywhere in the world. They could always apply. We're also hiring for volunteering and for internship. So if they go on our website, they will see there's a page for jobs opportunities or volunteer opportunities where they can just click on, and all they have to do is just send us their CVs, and we'll interview them. If it's the right fit, they go back. There are different ways to help. You can work and get paid for it, or you can volunteer here in Canada, meaning helping with fundraising, or back in Ethiopia helping with building the curriculum, or even being a teacher, for example, or being an assistant to a teacher. There's also ways to help financially. Some people donate on our website, so they can just donate $5, $10, whatever they can. And then the last way of helping, of course, is to spread the word, to like our Facebook page. The more people like the page, the easier it is for us to find funding, because the funders see that there are many people following us in a way. So all these ways are possible. Sharing our pages, telling people about it, like what we're doing now, actually is definitely helpful.
Yeah. So basically, for everyone listening out there, like, this is a great school. I think it's a great project that not only has its place in Africa, but also anywhere around the world, and helping these passion projects and really humanitarian. We are going to build a better society. So I'll make sure to leave the links below in the video, so you can go check it out, see for yourself. And I guess the page has your information.
Yes.
So
yes.
If you have any questions for Mariam, you can write it to her. So basically, we're running out of time. So at the last part, I'm a soccer fan, as you said at the beginning.
Yes.
So I always ask for an extra time to the referee. So how it works is that I have a dice.
Okay.
Well, now this one is on my phone. That's okay. Much better. And what we're going to do is, like, whatever the face of the dice is going to be the number of minutes that we have extra time.
Okay.
And if it turns out to be 6, it means no, because no match goes after
like
6 minutes.
Okay, 6 maximum. Yeah.
So go ahead, you just tap on the face of
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, perfect. So we'll try to do this really rapid fire. Alright, so we'll have 1 minute to extra time. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So 3, 2, 1, go. Do you have any nickname?
Yes, some people call me Mari or Mariko.
Is it football or soccer?
Soccer.
A Montrealer is?
Someone who complains about construction.
What is the best season in Montreal?
Best season?
Yes.
Summer.
What is your dream job?
Education, teaching.
Favorite kind of poutine?
Oh, the natural, the normal one.
What do you wish you can learn in a second?
Chinese.
Favorite travel destination?
Anywhere where it's sunny.
Cake or cookies?
Cookies.
Pool or bowling?
Pool.
Something you're proud of?
The fact that I'm almost finished with my PhD.
Favorite thing about yourself?
Favorite thing about myself? I smile a lot. I like to laugh and smile. I like life.
Are clowns scary?
Clowns? No, they're cute.
And finally, is new always better?
No.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's going to be it. Thank you, Mariam, for having me here in your apartment doing this podcast. It was really fun, actually. I think. And I wish a lot of luck for ABBA. Just for the listeners again, where can they find all the information about it?
www.brightafricans.com.
And on Facebook is
on Facebook it's ABBA Academy of Bright Africans.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you very much for coming, and I hope I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you very much. And for everyone listening out there, thank you very much for coming another week. Next week we'll have another guest, as you know. And see you next time. If you like this episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up and leave a comment in the video. And if you want, subscribe. Why not? Thank you very much for joining us, and see you next week.